Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Natra binti Saleh and my metric number is MS241031502. Today my group and I will be presenting our 30% assignment project for this course. I will begin by presenting the introduction of our report. For this project, we used the student depression dataset, which consists of 100 student records. The dataset contains information related to student demographic characteristics, lifestyle, academic habits, and mental health status. Depression is one of the most common mental health issues among students. It can affect emotion, concentration, academic performance, and daily life. Therefore, understanding the factors associated with depression is important in helping educators and institutions provide better support for students' mental health and academic well-being. In this project, we select three variables, which is work or study hours, sleep duration, and depression. This variable we choose to examine whether students' work or study hours differ according to the depression status. Next, I will explain the research objective, research questions, hypothesis, and selected variables. The first objective of this project is to compare the work or study hours between students and without depression. The second objective is to determine whether there is a significant difference in work or study hours between these two groups. Based on this objective, our research question is there a significant difference in work or study hours between students with and without depression? To answer this question, we formulate two hypotheses. The null hypothesis, or H0, states that there is no significant difference in work or study hours between students with and without depression. Meanwhile, the alternative hypothesis, or H1, states that there is a significant difference between the two groups. Finally, this project focuses on three selected variables. Work or study hours is a numerical variable, while sleep duration and depression are categorical variables. These variables were used throughout the descriptive and inferential statistical analysis in this study.
Good morning everyone, my name is Nilani. My metric number is MS241031436. Now I will explain the data cleaning process. Before conducting the statistical analysis, the data set was screened to ensure that the data were complete, accurate, and also suitable for analysis. The selected variable, which are works and study hours, sleep duration, and also depression, were checked for a missing value, duplicate record, and also incorrect interest. The dataset was imported into a Microsoft Excel for data preparation and also analysis. Data validation was also performed to ensure that all values were within the expected categories and also numerical range. The inspector showed that there were no missing value, duplicate record, or incorrect value in the selected variable. Therefore, all 100 student records were written and no data correction were required before proceeding with the statistical analysis. Now, I will explain about the graph. First, figure 2.1 shows the bar chart of sleep duration. The bar charts present the distribution of students according to their sleep duration. Beside on the chart, most students sleep between 7 and 8 hours, which represent 29% of the sample, while 30% sleep more than 8 hours. Next, figure 2.2 shows the bar chart of depression status. This bar chart represents the depression of students based on their depression status. The graph shows 52 60% of the students have depression while 48% do not have depression. Lastly, figure 2.3 shows the histogram of work and study hours. A histogram was created because work and study hours is a numerical variable. The histogram illustrates the distribution of student work and study hours and provides an overview of how the data are spread across different values. From the histogram, we can see 10 hours has the higher frequency followed by 11 hours while 5 hours has the lowest frequency. Overall, this graph provides a clear visual representation of the distribution of the selected variable before further statistical analysis were carried out. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Jacinta Joannis, metric number MS241031657. Now let's look at the descriptive statistic for our selected variable, which is work or study hour from the student represent data set. We collected data from 100 student respondents. The variables we focus are on work or study hours, sleep duration, and depression because these factors are closely related to student mental health. Based on our analysis, the mean or average work or study time is 6.41 hours per day. This tells us that students generally spend around 6.5 hours studying or working. The median is 7 hours, which means that half of the students study or work for less than 7 hours, while the other half spend more than 7 hours. The mode is 10 hours, indicate that 10 hours is the most frequently reported amount of work or study time around the respondent. This descriptive statistic gave us a quick summary of the data and help us understanding the overall study habit of the student. This serves as a foundation for examining how work and study hours along with sleep duration may be associated with depression. Thank you.
My name is Karunisa Adira binti Muhammad Azmi, the matrix MS250535658. Next is the descriptive statistic for minimum, maximum range, and standard deviation, which the minimum show the lowest number of work or study is 0 hour recorded. The maximum show the highest number of work or study is 12 hours recorded. The range showed the difference between the highest and lowest work or study is 12 hours. The standard deviation show how much student work or study is 3.96 hours, vary from the average. The descriptive statistics show the students spend an average of 6.41 hours on work or study each day. The most common study duration is 10 hours, while the data range from 0 to 12 hours. The standard deviation of 3.96 hours indicate moderate variation in work or study hours among students. Overall, the results suggest that students have different study duration, although most spend between 6 and 10 hours on work or study each day. Thank you.
Interferential statistics show that ideal, null, and alternative hypothesis HO. There is no significant difference in work or study hours between students with and without depressions. Null hypothesis H1. There is a significant difference in work or study hours between students with and without depression. The statistical output from Microsoft Excel is presented on the slide. It contains the result of the independent sample t-test, which was conducted to compare the work or study hours between students with and without depression. The interpretation of this statistical result, including the p-value on the final decision on our hypothesis, will be explained in the next section.
My name is Noradawati binti Yubin alias Duin. My number matric is MS241031654. Moving on to 4.4 result. These are the results of the independence t-test. Students with a depression at average work or study time of 5.90 hours, while students with a depression at a slightly higher average of 6.188 hours. The t-test produced a t-value of negative 1.246 with 95 degrees of freedom, and the p-value was 0.2159, since the p-value is greater than 0.05. We failed to reject the null hypothesis. This means there is no statistically significant difference in work or study hours between students with and without depression. Moving on to 4.5 interpretation of findings. Although students with depression at slightly higher average work or study hours, the difference was not statistically significant. Based on the sample of 100 students, work or study hours were not significantly associated with depression status. To conclude, work or study hours alone do not matter to influence whether a student experiences depression in this study. Other factors may play a more important role and could be explored in the future research. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Delia Falavi Arbot and my matrix number is MS24103168. So today I'm going to present my part, which is discussion and conclusion, and there are 4 parts that I'm going to present. Include conclusion. The conclusion will be the last part, which is the first part is main findings. There is no significant differences in work and studies hours between students with and without depression. And the second one is student with depression. They studied slightly longer than those without depression, but the difference was not statistically significant. The second part is possible reason. Depression is influenced by multiple factors, including academic stress, financial issue, social support, and lifestyles. The second one is study duration. Study duration alone is not a strong predictor of depression. The third part is limitation. The first one is small sample size, and the second one is only 3 variables were analyzed, and the third one is secondary cross-sectional data cannot determine cause and effect relationship. And the fourth point or part is recommendation. The recommendation is use a larger and more representative sample, and the second one is include additional variables such as academic stress and social support, and the third one is apply advanced statistical method like multiple regressions, and the fourth one is strengthen university mental health support and counseling service. In conclusion, this study found there is no statistically significant difference in work or study hours between students with and without depression. The independent sample tests showed the difference in mean work studies hours was not significant. Therefore, the null hypothesis was not rejected. Although students with depression spend slightly more time on work or study than those without depression, the difference was not statistically significant. These findings suggest that work studies hours alone are not associated with depression among students. Instead, depression is likely influenced by a combination of factors, including academic stress, financial difficulty, difficulty, social support, and lifestyles. Future research should involve a larger sample size and examine factors to provide a more comprehensive understanding of student depression. That's all from my part. Thank you.